This GPT-5 agent is boring, but it's actually quietly saving grocery stores millions every single year. Let me explain. A few weeks ago, I was speaking with the director at one of Switzerland's largest grocery store chains, and he told me about a problem I had no idea even existed: shelf space. In grocery retail, every single centimeter equals money, and mismanaging that space can bleed millions. So I asked him what they currently do, and he told me that the managers currently manually check the shelves and then manually input that data into an Excel sheet. Now, needless to say, this process is very slow, it's often also very inaccurate, and the managers of course hate doing this because it takes so long. So I built an AI agent powered by GPT-5, which has a completely different approach. This is an AI assistant which the managers can talk to on the phone. It sounds like a real human, and in real time they can just walk through the store and then talk to it and tell it what the space is left. And the best part is, once it hangs up, the agent can cross-reference the system and can make real-time decisions. It analyzes gaps, generates restock recommendations, and overall outputs clean, clear data for these companies to make big decisions. In this video, I aim to cut through all of the AI noise. First of all, I want to show you a live demo of what this AI sounds like. Second, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how the MVP looks like and how it could work on the back end. And third, I'm going to show you the phases of the build, the investment that you would need, and the expected ROI. Stick around till the end, because somewhere in this video I've actually hidden the templates to the prompts and the workflows, which you can just download for free. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. My name is Liam. I've helped businesses all over the world, from insurance to hospitality to even waste management, save quite a lot of money every single year with AI. If you would like to use AI to do the same for your business, just use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call. As always, there are only 3 spots available for every video, so click down below and save your spot, and I look forward to hearing from you. Now let's dive into the live demo. Alright, so this is what the AI actually looks and sounds like in action. So before I give this a call in just a second, 2 prerequisites to know. When I call this, we first of all have a list of all of the locations and then also the phone numbers of the managers. So in this case, I would be the manager of Bern, and I can call the AI and ask, what's my to-do list for today? Now, this is an extra that I've made up and I added because I can imagine that it's good for them to know which items should I check today. And it can basically detect who's calling and then give them the right to-do list for the day. Now, second, we have a mock stock database of categories, and then we have the SKUs, and then expected shelf space, backroom stock units, and then also the demand score. Now, all of this data will be analyzed by the AI based on what the managers say in just a moment. So, oh, by the way, also, this is in Google Sheets, but for our real clients, we can integrate this with pretty much any software that you usually work with, so Google Sheets is just an example. Okay, that being said, let's actually give the AI a call, and you can hear what this sounds like.
Hey, this is Claire. How can I help you, Liam?
Hey Claire, could you please give me the to-do list for today?
Today you will have to check these 5 items: peanut butter, cheese, pasta, milk, and apples. Let's start with peanut butter. How many spaces are left on the shelf?
Okay, so for peanut butter we have 6 square meters. For apples we have 3 square meters. For milk we have 5 square meters left. There's quite a lot of space left for milk.
Okay.
And what were the last 2?
Okay, gotcha. The remaining items are cheese and pasta.
Oh, okay. For pasta there's
left
there's almost no space. It's just 1 square meter. And for cheese we have 1.5 square meters.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Actually, you mentioned milk twice. Could you please confirm the correct space left for milk? Is it 3 or 5 square meters?
Oh, thanks for reminding me. For milk, the correct space is actually 5 that I can see here right now, roughly speaking.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying. That's all the items from today's to-do list. I'm going to cross-reference everything with the system now. Please give me a moment. All right, I'm now sending the final report. Thanks for making your store more efficient.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye. So as you can see, it sounds like a human, and you can just speak with it. It'll even remind you if you made a mistake. So in this case, one thing wasn't clear, and it thought, okay, I need to clarify, so it decides to clarify. Now, what all of this that I'm showing you on the screen right now means and does, I'll explain in just a moment. But at the moment, this AI step down here This is just analyzing everything I've said on the call. And in just a moment, it's going to output a lot of data, which will be very interesting. So give it a second and it will give us an output. And by the way, this is what we're using GPT-5, the latest model, for. So the output here is in code, and this is quite cool because now AI isn't just contained in a chat little window, but it can actually go out into the world and use this code to interact with your systems. So what it did is it listened to the transcripts, it actually analyzed the database here, and now what it did is it divided the items that I had on my to-do list into 3 categories. First of all, the OK items, that's cheese and pasta. So that was because I said for, cheese, we have only 1 square meter or something. That's less than the expected shelf space, which means that there's more items still left on the shelf. There's nothing we need to do, and the same for pasta. Next, the restock items was apples. I said here that for apples we had, I think, 5 square meters it was, and it realized that, wow, we actually still have some backroom stock units, which means that we just need to restock them. No reordering needed. But then for peanut butter and for milk, it realized that, okay, where is it? For milk here, I said that there was more than 1.78 square meters left, which means that there should be more stock on the shelf. There is, however, no stock left in the back room, which means we need to reorder. And the same goes for peanut butter here, there's none left. And then it also takes into account the demand score, so 3 and 5. And we can get this to rank them based on urgency of reorder. And the way this works exactly, I'll show you in a moment. As you saw in the outputted code, it also matches them to the correct SKUs. So in here it can identify just by saying cheese or milk or chicken, it can find the right SKU and then give you very structured data to use. It also estimated the amount of reorder units. Now this would of course need to have more data input from your past experience from that grocery store to make this really accurate. But just right out of the box, this is already a very cool system. Now keep in mind, this is only the bare minimum. There's a lot more that you would add in real life. But for today, let me explain how this works, which softwares I used, which prompts I used, and then next we can go into the future phases. So to explain this, I'd like to do it in 2 ways. First of all, a drawing of the overview, how AI agents actually work. And second, I'll go more in depth into the actual softwares and prompts and the tech stack, if that's interesting for you. Now, what I'm about to show you in this little drawing, in this little box, is actually something we sell to companies as team training for several $1,000s, so it's completely free, soak it all in, but this part's actually important as well. So 2 halves to it. First of all, what is an AI agent in general? What makes it different from things like ChatGPT? Because when I speak to business owners and I ask them, are you using AI? They go, oh yeah, we're using ChatGPT. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's good, but there's a lot more to this than just ChatGPT. And then the second half is actually our system, our workflows, and what happens. So, first of all, what is an AI agent? An AI agent, we basically take ChatGPT out of its box. The problem with ChatGPT is that you're stuck, right? You're talking to it on the phone, you text something, it texts something back, and that's cool, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You can get answers, but it can't actually do anything for you. Now, an AI agent works a little bit different. An AI agent, say this is the AI. An AI agent has tools, and these tools are things like code. They are things like the workflows I just showed you in the background. And hold on, let me quickly draw this. These can be workflows. Now, an AI agent, what makes it so special is that it can go outside of its little box and into the world. It's able, let's just quickly delete ChatGPT over here. We won't need it. There we go. So an AI agent, you can actually take out of its box and put into the real world. So this AI, in this case, you tell it something like you help grocery store managers collect data. And you tell it, for example, you're allowed to look up the to-do list. You're allowed to look at past data from the stores. At the end of the call, you're allowed to send that data into a report and then generate it. And one of the coolest things here is that the AI is just the decision maker. The AI itself doesn't actually do that much. All it does is it talks, right? It does the conversation part from talking back and forward, and it just decides at which point in the conversation do I need to look up the to-do list? When do I need to call the past data of the store? When can I send the report? So the AI itself, the agent, all it needs to do is make decisions. And this is great because we're outsourcing a lot away from the AI into code, into systems that are always reliable, into systems that are secure and can't make mistakes. So the AI is literally like a human pressing buttons on a laptop. And this is also why they're so safe, right? The AI can't just have access to everything in your system, but we limit the access with very specific windows of where it can use data, where can it interact with. And this will be a little more clear with the workflows in a moment. Okay, so that little course on the side, how does this actually work in our case? In our case, the call starts here. This is the call. That call gets sent to the AI. Now, the cool thing is, with the call, we also, of course, send the number. In this case, it just sends the phone number that it's calling from. And the AI has this information from the get-go. And now the thing is, when the AI starts talking, the manager will ask something like, please give me my to-do list. In that case, the AI knows, okay, let me use this first tool to look through a spreadsheet. And then I'll show you in a moment how we set up the filter. But in that spreadsheet, as you saw somewhere, it has my number, right? The number that I just wrote up there. So basically what the AI does is it just takes this number, it sends it into a separate tool, which looks through the spreadsheet for that number, and then returns back into the AI the to-do list. And then the AI says, oh, okay, your to-do list is cheese, apples, chicken, and so ever. Now next, what we've instructed the AI to do is just listen. Listen to what the manager says. Next, we've instructed it, once the manager stops talking, it needs to cross-reference this list again and check, is it complete or is there something missing? And as you saw in the example, it actually asked for clarification if it's not sure. And once it's sure that you've literally completed all the items on that to-do list, then it goes, okay, at this point now, the AI agent realizes I can use another tool, which is to send the report. And then this actually gets sent into another AI, which I'll show you in just a moment. But all it does here is it sends the answers. So it's basically for item 1, we've got X quantity. For item 2, we have X quantity, 3X, and so on. And all it does, it collects that data and sends that into the next system. Because one of the biggest things that I've learned working with AI is that you have to break it down into smaller parts. You can't just give it one huge prompt and hope to do everything at once. You have to build a team of mini AIs, a team of AI agents, which each have their own separate tools. And once you do that, once every task is smaller, that's when you reduce the hallucinations by a lot. Because a simple task there's basically no margin of error left. But if you give it all the tasks at once, it's probably going to get something wrong. Okay, moving on to the second half of the explanation. This is a little more technical. If you don't want to know exactly how this works, just skip to the cost breakdown in a moment, where I'm actually going to break down what the ROI looks like. But if you are interested, this is how it looks like. So we have two softwares that we're using. Vappy, which is the voice that you heard, the thing that connects to the phone call, and the actual first AI agent. And then we have N8N, which is used for these workflows, for basically these boxes. This is what we build in N8N. And this main AI here is built on Vappy. Now, both of them are enterprise-grade softwares used across many industries by up to Fortune 500 companies. So they're big boys, they're secure, which is why I like using them as well. Okay, so first of all, let's start with Vappy. Vappy, if you've never seen this before, it's going to look like a lot, but it's you can basically build assistants. So here we have the supermarket assistant, then I've got one for an Airbnb, one for an electrician, hotel, and so on. So let's just look at this assistant here. And you can see the cost per minute, by the way, as well, which I'll get into later. But first of all, you can choose which model do I want. and then you can set a welcome message, which in this case was, "Hi, this is Claire, how can I help you, Liam?" And now we're getting into the prompt. So the prompt, just as a side note, we can divide this into a few different parts. We have the role, telling it who are you, the context of why are people calling, what's the time, little things like that are always really important, and you almost forget. Then specifics of how it should collect the information. And then this is basically the next part is called chain of thought prompting. So all of this is pretty much a like a checklist for the AI of when are you allowed to use which tool, and I'll get to the tools in a moment. And then next we give it a tone and style. You're clear, you're efficient, you're professional. When is it allowed to end the call? And then a few notes at the end of basically the notes section is everything that isn't working, put it into the notes section. Because with the prompt, and it's actually quite interesting, AI prioritizes the last and the first bits of the prompt. So just make sure that they are the most important ones. Okay, next let's get into the tools. So in the tools here we have two, the get list tool and the send report tool. If you click on the tools on the left here, you can see get list tool. You give it a name, and then you also tell it, use this tool to get the list of items the manager should check. So now the AI knows, back to our analogy here, okay, I'm allowed to use this tool in X situation. This is a description for this tool. This tool has this description. So it just basically gives it context on when am I allowed to use these. Now in here we can have parameters. In this case, question isn't so important, but it's more important for the send report, so I'll skip that. And then we have a server URL. And this is basically where the information gets sent. So the server URL is then in the second software N8N. And we have a webhook here with that same URL, which means that now we receive data from the AI, including, for example, the phone number. Here we have a little filter on, is the agent currently using the get list tool or is it using the send report tool? If it's using the get list tool, we look through Google Sheets, and then we just send this little bit of data through to filter the Google Sheets based on the phone number, and then return into the agent the result of that sheet. So, and this is code once again. This is nothing to do with AI. This is reliable. AI is also reliable, but code is 100% bulletproof. And basically what it does is it searches for the phone number who's currently calling, and then matches that to the to-do list. You could theoretically also have an AI which generates this to-do list, by the way. Okay, next tool is the send report tool. In this case, we've told it use once the customer has said that you can send the report. And here in the parameters, data product space. So in here we've told the AI, please extract the names of the products mentioned plus the amount of space left in this format. Item name plus X amount of square meters, and then the next one. So now we've basically told this AI, please extract this from the conversation and also send it to the server URL. It'll realize that, okay, this time it's using this tool down here. It searches this sheet over here, gets all the data, and then this is basically just putting it into one little data bundle, sends that into, in this case, GPT-5, which is the most advanced model. And then in here, we've given GPT-5 another prompt telling it how it should analyze the current data. So first of all, match the category to the SKU, find the shelf space, determine the next actions, and so on. And basically output things in a JSON format. And then here, all of this green stuff is the data that we've sent in. And then what it does is it writes this code and outputs the result that you saw at the end. And the cool thing is you can even have this AI, you can add tools to this as well. So for example, you could say, where is it, email? You could say trigger an email to alert managers if the stock is lower than X amount. And this AI is once again, this is what I meant with the team, right? Within here, this is another AI with which, and if you then just go deeper and deeper, once again has its own set of tools, right? So you can see that this just gets crazy after a while. And yeah, just as a little side note, and basically once you've done this, you have your data, you have the output categorized. So for someone who's never tried this before, this might seem like a lot, and of course it is, but this is really just a really basic system of what's possible, and yeah, you can do quite a lot with these agents. Now I would like to show you what the ROI is for something like this. So I have two tables because you have to take two things into consideration. First of all, simply the time that we're saving and the money on that, and then second, the impact on the store's revenue. Now this is an educated guess. I've done some research, but I'm pretty sure that if there's some managers watching, they can tell me if this is more or less correct. But I've tried to keep it very conservative to show you almost the worst case scenario. So first of all, what does the AI actually cost? So the AI itself, you charge it per minute basically, or per execution, and I'm talking about, in this case, VAPI. This depends on how good the prompt is. So if the prompt is huge and you have someone who doesn't know what they're doing and it's just not very efficient, this costs a lot more, of course. But at the moment we're only at 10 cents per minute, which is compared to where it was a few months ago, it was double this. So the prices are going down a lot, but still 10 cents is very affordable, especially if you look at the savings. So I've just taken an average manager who makes $40 an hour. That's 76 per minute, and as you can see, this is already 6-7 times more expensive than an AI. So let's say normally at the end of every week, a manager has to spend 2 hours going through the store, going back to his spreadsheet, typing in the values, and so on. With the AI, you can do this in 10 minutes, maybe even less, because you can just run through the store, talk to the AI, and it's just super fast. AI price per minute, I even had this at 11 cents. This is also US dollars, by the way, so in euros it's probably like 9 cents. And then the weekly cost per store for the manager, just by his salary, is $80. And then the annual cost per store is actually $4,000. And then let's say you had only 20 stores, which for a larger chain is, I think they have quite a lot more. You're already spending $83,000 a year over all the 20 stores, which is huge, right? Just for someone to walk through and collect the data. Now the AI in comparison to that is a lot cheaper, of course. So automatically, as you can see, the annual savings by using an AI just on human labor saved is 82,000. Now, at the level that these grocery stores are playing, this is like breakfast money. So this isn't where the big savings or the big money comes in. But it's already cool to see the human savings. Now, on top of this, you also basically have manager satisfaction. They're going to be a lot happier because they don't need to spend so much time. So yeah, it's pretty cool that you get paid $82,000 to have happier managers and better data, right? Just out of the box. This is why I love AI, right? You get paid to have a better service. All right, so this is where the actual money happens. So let's assume a store makes 4.5 million a year, and we only have very small improvements from reduced stockouts, from waste reduction, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other factors I haven't even thought of. Let's say it's only 1% or even 0.5%. That means that the annual impact per store, automatically you have this much in net benefit. Now I've even subtracted the very small AI cost from this, but it's really marginal. And now if you compare that over only 20 stores at really a very, very small improvement over only 20 stores, you're already making $1.3 million extra. And that includes all the costs. Now, of course, to set one of these up, and the custom development will be a little more than just $1,000, of course. I can go into that a little bit later. But as you can see, even at very marginal improvements, this is already a very, very worthwhile investment. Now, what are the phases of all of this? So if somebody came to me and said, we want something like this, then the first phase would be an AI audit. AI audit. So basically what we do is we sit down for 2 weeks, 2 to sometimes 6 weeks, and we just learn the processes of the business. We analyze everything in respect to AI. We see where are the use cases, how can we make this as efficient as possible. Now the price for this is nothing huge. It can be between $3,000 and $8,000, and that's basically a complete AI analysis of the business. Now next would be the MVP stage. In the MVP stage, we would build a product for example, only one location. And in that case, we would see what is the actual return. Do we like it? Don't we like it? Cost for this can be anywhere between maybe 10 and 20,000. And then after that, once we've seen actual data, right? Because we can track all the calls, we can track the data and the money that it's saving you and the time. And once we do that and we've built the MVP, that's when you would actually go into the real product, which is something like possibly even custom developing this. Outside of tools like N8N, outside of tools like VAPI, you might want to custom develop this on your own, as your own little software. And then you would roll it out to all of your locations, right? And in that case, there's a lot of different pricing models, and that's the advantage of working with someone like me who custom builds this, that you can work on the pricing models. So either you have an upfront fee of X, or you have basically you take the price of the MVP and we only take like 0.01% of the improvement, for example. There's a lot of different pricing models that you can do, but as you've seen in the overview here, with AI in general, it is very black and white. You're always guaranteed to have a huge ROI, and in this case, it's a massive ROI. It's like a 1,000 times ROI in this case. So yeah, I hope you can see the benefit in this. This is why I get so excited talking about AI, because the implications are massive, especially for larger companies who haven't adopted AI yet. This is a game changer, to say the least. So as I've said many times in the video, if you would like to work with me and set something similar to this up for your company, you can just use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call. Once again, only 3 people per video, because I do put quite a lot of effort into them. But I hope you grab one of those 3 spots. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video.